Hello, how are you? And welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Doreen Murata, the host of this amazing YouTube channel. And once again, it's a brand new video. So if you are new here, please hit that red button and it will take you less than a minute to subscribe. And if you have been here with me, following my videos, following my channel all through, I welcome you back. Okay, so I am so sorry. Last week I was not able to upload a YouTube video. I was out in Homer Bay County exploring the beautiful Takawiri and Rusinga Islands, and oh my god, don't they look beautiful? They do. If you follow me on social media, you have seen the photos already. Okay. Today I am here again with a brand new video, and I want us to delve into it and get to know what it means to be a concordant couple, or what it means to be in a concordant relationship. So, I was born to a HIV discordant couple. My parents are still discordant to date, and most people like to ask me how they did it, but honestly, I don't think there is a science behind my parents. I think it's more of luck and just God. Otherwise, probably they might just have, my father might just have seroconverted. Seroconversion is when one partner who was originally HIV negative gets infected with the other partner if they are in a discordant relationship. So today, I am going to give you the non-scientific aspect of a concordant couple. So a discordant couple, we know, is a couple where one partner is HIV positive and the other partner is HIV negative. And it can be the man, it can be the woman, it really doesn't matter. But it does not mean that people who are in discordant relationships add up to be called carriers, because I see that confusion a lot, especially on social media, where people say, oh, so is your father a carrier? No, he is not carrying anything, he just does not have HIV. Totally. A lot of people don't understand that part mostly, and they say, no, but how can he be negative? And it happens. It happens like that. I have been in relationships, none of those people were HIV positive. I never infected any of them, and they were still HIV negative. So in discordant couples is the same. One person is fully HIV negative. They don't have any form of HIV. By the way, you cannot be a carrier, because a carrier means that you kind of like have HIV and you do not have HIV, and there is nothing like that. With HIV, there are no in-betweens. HIV is not like COVID, where you have mild symptoms, or you have COVID and you don't have symptoms. It doesn't work like that. With HIV, you either have it or you do not have it. So I hope up until this moment, I hope you're good. And if this video has interested you, continue liking, sharing, and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a lovely comment in the comment section. So a concordant relationship is where two people who are both HIV positive decide to be in a relationship. So, for example, if I decided today that I was going to be in a relationship with another person who has the same HIV status as me, which I am positive, it means that that person and me will be in a relationship called concordant. So, how does this work? A lot of people tend to actually think that this is an easier way of dating or being in a relationship as a person living with HIV. And sadly, I don't think it is. Just like all relationship, and let me tell people living with HIV this, if you're watching this video, all relationships, whether they are for people who don't have HIV at all, whether they are discordant relationships, whether they are concordant relationships, whether they are relationships in the LGBTQIA community, all of them are strange and complicated, because these are two different people who have only been brought together by one emotion called love. They have to actually work through a lot of things, considering they are coming from two different backgrounds, two different beliefs, and so they have to put in the work. So it's not about, I want to marry somebody who is HIV positive like me. No. Being HIV positive alone does not show that the two of you are compatible. So I really hope you understand that, because a lot of people have the idea that if I date a person who is positive like me, then it's going to be easier. It's probably going to be easier on the disclosure part, because then this person doesn't really like judge you. That is according to people living with HIV. But I don't think that the relationship is going to be any easier than if you would have been in any other relationship, or if your situation would have been different. So once these two people who are both HIV positive decide to date, so how do they go about it? Do they have unprotected sex? Do they have protected sex? Can they get HIV negative children? Like, what happens in this kind of scenario? So people who are in a concordant relationship are also advised to use protection. Why? Because you might find that one of the partners has not yet reached undetectable viral load. So let me break this down a little bit. Why are they advised to use condoms, for example? And mostly it's condoms. Because HIV, we have two types of HIV, and I'll do a video about that. We have HIV-1 and we have HIV-2. But in HIV-1, it has its own cluster. It has its own babies in there. Okay, so just like COVID-19 kept mutating and has different variants, the same way as HIV. So when I say HIV-1 has very many clusters, very many babies in there, I mean it also has its own variants, okay? And with those variants, it means that the variant I have might not be the variant that the person who I am going to date who is positive has, okay? And if we are both not undetectable, if our viral load is not suppressed, then that person might infect me or I might infect him. And that is how reinfection happens, okay? So maybe this person has HIV-2 and I have HIV-1. This person might actually infect me with HIV-2, or I might infect them with HIV-1, reason being I am not virally suppressed. So what is viral suppression, in case you're wondering, like, what am I talking about? What is that? So viral suppression is actually when you take your ARVs consistently or faithfully every day without fail, and as you are taking your ARVs, the virus becomes controlled, for lack of a better word. It becomes controlled. So once the virus is controlled within your body system, it means it's not mutating, it's not growing, it's not doing anything, it's just dormant in your body. Then you know that you have reached an undetectable viral load. And you can only know this by getting a viral load test. That is the only way that you can know that you actually are undetectable. Some people have a viral load of 0, some people have a viral load of 50, but they are still undetectable. Anything above 50 is 50 to 1,000 is what we call low detectable load, whereby you need to work a little bit on it for you to actually reach undetectable. But anything above 1,000 is chaotic on your end, can expose you to other opportunistic infections, and so you are always advised to take your ARVs carefully. A lot of people ask, how do I become undetectable? Very easy, just take your drugs and ensure you take them every day and on time. That is it. So reinfection can only happen if the both of you or one of you is not virally suppressed. So I hope that by this moment, by the time you're reaching this point, you know what viral suppression is, right? So that is how reinfection can only happen. And that is why if the both of you are not virally suppressed, you're always encouraged to use condoms until you reach viral suppression. So I hope that by now you're still very interested in this video. So I still ask that if you did not subscribe at the beginning, subscribe now, leave that like, comment, okay? Yeah, so let us continue. So with the concordant couples, if they are both undetectable, then they cannot, and they're using the treatment well, and they don't have any other sexually transmitted diseases that is not HIV, like maybe syphilis, gonorrhea, what. If they just have HIV and their viral load is very undetectable and they're taking the treatment well, then they are advised to actually now stop using condoms. So how do they get a negative child? Because both of you can be HIV positive, but your child can be actually HIV negative. So that is also where science comes in, and science is actually a very beautiful thing. So you start, as I said earlier, you continue with the treatment, you and your partner. You are encouraged to get pregnant now that you're both undetectable, and the child is put, and the mother, when the mother is pregnant, is encouraged to continue taking her treatment very well to prevent the child from getting HIV during conception, because the child can get HIV from the mother by 3 ways: 1 during conception, 2 during birth, and 3 during breastfeeding. So during conception and birth, that is the mother, it's only the mother who can actually prevent that by taking her ARVs correctly and consistently and faithfully. And then now after birth, during breastfeeding, still it's the mother's job to continue. But now there is a little bit of assistance from science where the child is given prophylaxis. What is prophylaxis? Prophylaxis is preventive medication, such as post-exposure prophylaxis taken by people who have gotten exposed to HIV after sex. Then there is pre-exposure prophylaxis taken by HIV negative people, again, before exposure to HIV. And then now there is prophylaxis for children as well, which is now called the nevirapine syrup. And there is also, there is another one, there's another medication that they're given, I have forgotten, and then the Septrin. So the first, with the nevirapine syrup, the mother is encouraged to give the child that medication up until they finish breastfeeding. So for the first 6 months, the mother breastfeeds the child consistently, only breast milk and prophylaxis. That child cannot even take water. Just breast milk and prophylaxis for 6 months exclusively. No mixed feeding, nothing. And then after 6 months, now the mother can start introducing food while giving the child prophylaxis until this child is actually called a highly exposed infant. So the child is a highly exposed infant until they are 18 months old, and then now they graduate. Their first graduation of this child is not going to happen at kindergarten. It's going to happen when they graduate from being a HAE, and now they're declared they are HIV negative. So all of this depends with the willingness of the HIV positive mother to take the treatment, to ensure that they're virally suppressed, to ensure that they're putting the child on all methods of cleanliness, consistency of prophylaxis, and ensuring that there is enough supply of medication for this child for 18 months. However, with the kind of systematic issues and barriers that we have, sometimes this kind of dream of elimination of mother to child is very difficult, because we have a huge stock out of the nevirapine syrup. Sometimes the mothers are given the syrup for consistently 6 months, and then after 6 months, they are told you can even stop breastfeeding at this point. But you see, this is a baby, and I don't think breastfeeding works like that. Like, you just say, hey, it's time, baby. You are now graduating to food, you see. But then some mothers actually just stop the whole breastfeeding at 6 months and continue with food and the prophylaxis when they get it from time to time until the child is tested HIV negative. Their final test, the first test is done at 6 weeks. The last test is done at 18 months, and in between, I think there's some tests, I have forgotten the duration. So that is actually how 2 HIV positive people, a concordant couple, end up with a HIV negative child. Okay, so now they have HIV negative children, right? And everything is going on well, right? But you see, the downside towards a concordant couple is sometimes they get tired. Sometimes they discourage each other from taking medication. Like, today we are both tired. Can we skip and take tomorrow? And they're like, yeah, let's take tomorrow. You see, it happens because even me as a person living with HIV who has been on ARVs for 17 years, I get tired. Treatment fatigue is real. So the downside is them encouraging each other to stop taking medication. That is the number one downside, because there's this idea where they both think, we're both HIV positive, what can go wrong? And then everything goes wrong. So that is the downside. So I will still encourage you that whether the two of you are still both HIV positive, you still need to take medication every day of your lives, okay? Because you have chosen that path of being together for life. So I don't think that is even a sacrifice to make. That is just a journey you have to walk together. What else? I don't think there is another. The advantage is the disclosure part. They don't get to judge you. I had mentioned that earlier. So it's easier for them, right? However, a lot of people tend to think that the way we keep saying, sometimes negative partners can show you character development. I have actually come across lots of couples who are both concordant, and the downsides of relationships still affect them. The cheating is there, the lies are there, the manipulation is there. So it's all about your partner. So when you're dating and you're out there dating, remember that being HIV, just because the two of you are both HIV positive, does not mean that you are going to be compatible. That is the word I was looking for. It doesn't mean that the both of you are going to be compatible. You can have the same HIV status, but you don't have any compatibility. So that is a downside. And you're not going to stay in there just because the two of you have the same health condition. It's not going to make sense. So if the relationship doesn't work, then continue with finding the right one, okay? Because the right relationship actually is there. We just have to look harder. The problem with relationships is it rains everywhere, they say. So yeah, right? So with concordant couples, however, I think for two people who have actually decided to walk the journey together, it's also easier for staying adherent to medication, because now they get to remind each other, baby, it's time to take medication. I think that is kind of a love language, so it's a good thing. And I know a lot of people living with HIV really struggle with dating. The other day I was even seeing this lady who was living with HIV for so long, and she was saying, it's when it comes to living with HIV, it's so hard for me to get a partner. But I actually feel like we limit ourselves a lot because we look at our status first. So maybe we should stop overthinking about our status, and that this is just my 2 cents. Maybe we should stop overthinking about our status and just look at it beyond the fact that we are greater than our status. We are greater than the small virus that we actually host, because our virus is actually pretty small, okay? So there are people out there who are willing to date, but you have to search the extra mile. So places where you can actually get the people is, I always say this on my Instagram, reply to your messages, your inbox, okay? Reply to those inboxes, to those DMs, reply to them. Join professional sites like LinkedIn. You can get very great professionals there. And I'm very sure that the people you're going to get on LinkedIn are going to have a little bit of sense as compared to other social media platforms. I am sorry, because I lack the better word of putting in that sentence. What else? Go out, interact with other people. Stop going out and then thinking, oh my God, I'm positive, I don't want to talk to these people. What if these people realize, what if this person realizes that at the end of the day, may be positive? No, be confident about your status. One thing, I asked this lady some time back, and I told her I kind of seem to attract, because a lot of people ask how I have never really dated a positive person. And then this lady just told me, part of you is very confident, and part of us actually needs to be confident that there is nothing wrong with our status. So let us stop faulting our status at any point. There is nothing wrong with that. We only meet our HIV status at the end of the day, or maybe early in the morning when we're taking our treatment. Otherwise, after that, we're just normal human beings, and we need to embrace that, okay? So in case you're struggling with getting into a relationship, I hope this really helps. Go out there, travel, meet new people, what is it called? Reply to your DMs. Join a dating site if you're shy. But dating is hard everywhere. You always have to remember that dating is very hard, and your HIV status is not going to make you undateable. It's just that it's going to make you finding a compatible partner, or other partner who has a little bit more of sense, a little bit harder for you. So if we have reached this very end, I hope that I've really tried my very best in this concordant couple situation. And it doesn't, it's really not like a huge topic, but here we are. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So if you reach the very end, please press that subscribe button, comment, like this video, and let me meet you next week with a brand new video. Bye bye.